What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Single Player Let's Play series. So this episode, I promised Elpec that I would follow along this little board that I have down here. I've made this in between episodes. I tore down the smeltery because we weren't really using it, and went through and added a bunch of to-do items. And you can see there's quite a few, and I'll keep on adding more and more and more as I think of them. But this one is one that I told Elpec I would do in the next Let's Play episode. So here we are doing it. We're going to play with Nature's Aura, Elpec's new mod, and it uses a mod called Patchouli. And Patchouli is, actually it technically uses this is from Patchouli, but it uses Minecraft Forge's mod ID spoofing. Essentially, it says that this is from Nature's Aura, even though the item is technically added by Patchouli. So this is like the guidebook that you can use to get a lot of good information from. And yeah, so we're going to get started with that this episode. It's going to be a neat mod. I already know it. And it's a magic-based mod that tells us a lot of information just in general as far as kind of getting into the aspects of magic, which are pretty cool. So let's go ahead and see Book of Natural Aura. So we can open this up. No, not that. This. And this is going to show you basically the getting started process and everything in and out and about it. So getting started with Nature's Aura, we're going to kind of want to figure out, A, where we want to do this, and B, what we want to do with it. So there's a bunch of cool stuff that can be done. Oh, my canola's grown. And there's a bunch of stuff that we can kind of go along with as we go. So we want to get started. There's some neat botany that we can do. Let's see. Kind of discusses the concept of aura, which we can get into as I'm actually playing with it, and talks about a few of the different baubles that are added. So we can go through, and as we unlock one thing, it'll unlock more. So we can get started with the brilliant trees. So we will want to start off with brilliant fiber. So to create such a tree, simply craft a bit of brilliant fiber and place it into the crown of a tree. So we're going to go ahead and start off with brilliant fiber and kind of play with it from there. So this mod is really quite beautiful, quite fun, and I need shears, which I don't imagine I actually have on me. Let me see. Oh, I do. Yay. So we're going to need to grab a few different things. We're going to need a variety of tall grasses. Oh, I also picked up a magnet just in between episodes. These things are stupidly cheap. Like, they're not even complicated, so that's why I didn't bother showing that crafting process on screen, is because it's incredibly uninteresting. And we'll just go ahead and cut down this tree, since it's a strange-looking one anyway. I'm hoping that that didn't have to be jungle. I figured it was Ore Dictionary. Okay, cool, it is. So now I'm just going to go ahead and clear out some of these, just to make sure that they don't take up a different type in the AE network. We'll go ahead and toss this right back down here. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the magnet just to make sure that it doesn't become a bother. Because sometimes it works when you don't want it to, so we definitely want to avoid that. I think I'm going to pick this area back here since I don't really have any plans for using it. And since I don't know if it'll work on these different varieties of trees, I'm just going to put it in a normal one. And so you'll see golden leaves, and these are going to pretty much spread over time, if I recall correctly. So you can see they almost have like a silk, like the silkworm effect that you can see in oh goodness, Modern Skyblock type stuff. Ex Nihilo, that's the mod I was thinking of. So these will, I think, if I remember correctly, eventually spread as they sort of clarify. So they have different phases. I wonder if it says on. Okay, yeah. So here you can see on the F3 screen over here, stage is equal to 2. I don't actually know what the maximum stage is, but I've got a few of these, so may as well just toss it around. I'm going to test it on a modded tree. I don't know if it does like a nearest neighbor, like a 3x3 neighbor type logic, in which case it should technically work with most of these trees. But I made a few of these, so may as well just kind of have a blast, right? And eventually we should have what I'm hoping for. So we'll see if this spreads like I'm hoping it will. We're still at stage 2. But whatever. So I'm just going to let that go ahead and grow for as long as it needs to and spread for as long as it needs to. And in the meantime, we can kind of look into some of the other options. I'm also going to harvest this canola real quick just because it's ready. So one thing I'm noticing is that these trees, I forgot, do not check for leaf decay. So you can see check decay is equal to false. But when you convert them to one of these brilliant fibers, it does. So that might be worth reporting as far as like, hey, this would be cool to... in my opinion, I think it would be more logical to maintain that same property across different leaf types so that this could continue to work so that it no longer checks for decay if it didn't in the first place. But it's nice at least that in return, if I take this, put it here, and like break it, it'll at least drop the brilliant fiber for me again, so I can continue to hopefully eventually get this to work. You can see that it is spreading over here little bit by bit, so we're just going to leave these be, like I said, and come back when it's done. So this is pretty cool. It is pretty much done here, and you can see a bunch of these different golden leaves working out pretty much the way we want. And we've already gotten one of the things that I was wanting here, which was a golden leaf. So the golden leaf can be used for a handful of things. Golden powder. Many of the rituals here will use these leaves, and so there's a bunch of stuff that we can kind of move along with from here. But yeah, so if we look into our Book of Natural Aura, we'll want a brilliant leaf, and then when the tree is harvested, we'll shed a gold leaf. So if we took one of these and broke it, I want to say, there we go. So fortune seems to help for sure. And I'm just going to kind of trim the edges here. I don't want to completely destroy my source here. But that'll give us, let me get like 16 maybe. But fortune definitely seems to help make sure that you at least get one. Because there is an off chance that you won't. I also don't remember where that cow came from. Thought I didn't have any cows around here. Whatever. So, now that we have these, we can actually craft a bunch of stuff from them. So the Ritual of the Forest is one of the other things that we can do using some wooden stands and a sapling and some this and that and the other. So why don't we look into getting, let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8 stands, wooden stands. So that looked to be a wood log, I think. And let's see, we can put this probably over here, I'm thinking. Somewhere over here. Go and break that cluster. We don't actually need those really that much anymore. And go ahead and clear out this tree. So we need a sapling, which I don't want to... I don't necessarily want the sapling yet, so I'll just put a wood log down for now. And let's go ahead and convert these. Because I think the shape looks something like this, if I remember. I sure hope so. You can actually visualize this, so I don't know why I'm doing it the hard way. I could just do this. So yeah, you can see that's already a decent bit of it done. So for each one of these you place down, you can see at the top here, it will show you the completion as far as the number of blocks placed and everything else. So the 25th block will, of course, be... Come on, bug off. Alright, so wood stands, blah, 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 all present. Cool. So I think that is reasonably good. So let's see. Our bottling is the next bit here, so bottle and cork. And we'll just grab some corked bottles. So let's see. As such, bottle and cork are similar, should slightly blah, 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 blah. Or by simply interacting in the air while holding it. Okay, so that is bottled sunlight. And so bottled sunlight can be used for a bunch of things, but there's also bottled ghost, which is the nether, and bottled darkness, which is the end, I think. So let's see, we have a few things that we can actually do now, and you can see the unlock progress here is actually really cool. You can do advancements as well and see the actual advancement screen, so we can figure out, okay, do we want some of these different ones? But it's going to tell me, hey, the next one you should do is empowered, and I'll take your word on that. Well, let's see. Harnessing aura, the nature altar. Okay, so this looks pretty straightforward. It's just going to be some stone bricks, the altar itself, which we need to craft. So we need to actually do one of these rituals, which is part of why I'm glad I kept this gold leaf, because we are going to need 3 pieces of stone and a piece of gold. So let's see, we needed on this side. So you're saying stone, bottled sunlight, that, and then stone, gold, stone. And if I remember correctly, bone meal to grow this. Yep, there we go. So this is going to begin this. This is essentially how the infusions are done. So this will, let's see, this altar recipe will create eventually what we want, which is the natural altar. Now, with the natural altar, there's a bunch of recipes you can do for infused rock, infused iron, which will make very useful tools. But there we go. Recipe is done, and that was not too terribly difficult at all. So I think what I'm going to do is tear down this farm here, because we don't really need it anymore. We could use the space over here instead. So let me do that real quick. Alright, so this gives us plenty of room for the next construction that we are going to want to build for sure, because this one is actually one of the more interesting ones in my opinion. So let me just clean up this a little bit. There we go. Okay, cool. So we can take a look at this structure. This structure is actually really neat, and we're going to want to build it probably right here, I'm thinking. So we're going to need some different wood and stone brick blocks. So let's grab those real quick. Cool. There we go. So that definitely takes just a minute to get done, but once you do, definitely not terribly difficult. And you can see this guy is basically just going to sit here and be ready to charge up. So not a lot to it. That was pretty easy to do if you ask me. But definitely one of the, in my opinion, this is one of the cooler aspects of Patchouli, is the ability to see exactly how this all goes. And so you can see the mana building up and stuff. So let's see, you can assemble it, you can kind of use it for different things. So we can look into some of our different uses. So we can create aura using an ancient tree. And this one is a really pretty one. So why don't we do this as well? This one's pretty fun. We're gonna need to start harvesting on some of these trees a little more. Alright, so I think we are just about ready. So we can go ahead and I went ahead and prepared this time. So I think it's... Yep. And so we will need, let's see. I don't actually know. We're going to find out, I guess. I don't actually know if the order of this matters, or if I can just put these pretty much anywhere. So I'm paying zero attention to where that went. It seems to not matter. Okay, cool. So this will create our ancient sapling. And there we are, ancient sapling. And so I kind of want to just put it in this area, because I do think this area is going to be really pretty by the time I'm done with it. I want this to be like the new roots area from the last Let's Play. And boom, there we go. Beautiful little tree. I actually really like it, and I hope I can get saplings from it. But I don't actually know. I'm going to delicately trim it a little bit. If I can't, then I'll just craft more. No big deal. But it definitely seems like no, because I did put fortune on this, and here I am. But very pretty little tree. I don't know if ancient bark even does anything. It does not look... Yeah, it doesn't look like it's anything special. It's just another ore dictionary log with its own stick, which is how you make these. These are actually really cool. So that's actually very neat. I did not realize that, but I do like that. So, we have our ancient sapling now. Ancient trees are grown. I don't think we need any of that stuff because our unlock progress is going pretty well. So we're creating aura now. We're harnessing it sort of. We haven't used the altar yet. So let's look into natural items. So let's look into the environmental eye. This is this Ritual of the Forest again. So okay. So the natural eye Ritual of the Forest is going to be, this is where I brought a bunch of saplings this time. It's going to be spider eye, gold, and 2 gold leaf. So let's see, bup. Takes 16 each time, and so we need a spider eye and gold. So yeah, if you haven't noticed, patchouli and nature's aura work together pretty nicely here, and essentially we use each one of these recipes here to unlock the next item. So you can see unlock progress is going pretty well here. We can look at the entry index too if we wanted to, but the environmental eye will let us take a look at the aura in the area. And this guy can just sit in the charm slot here, so we don't even have to have it in our inventory. The baubles integration is really quite beautiful, and I'm very, very happy with it. And you can also see the ancient leaves here. I don't know what these actually offer necessarily, but hello? But these charms are definitely very useful for determining kind of, or that this charm specifically is very useful for determining certain things. I keep getting stuff. So, oh, okay, so these actually do decay, and that's what we're looking at is the decay of them. Okay. So, seems like we're still locked out of some stuff for some reason. I don't really understand why. Aura bottling we've done. I don't know if it just wants me to make these items, because we totally can. I don't actually know. This is my first time actually playing around with this in survival mode. I've been playing creative for a while, but I mean, I'll totally sacrifice some iron and some stone. We're producing both of them infinitely now, so who cares? So you can see this guy is just going to use magic. I guess that was what I needed to do next. Cool. Because, yeah, that opened up a lot of stuff. Okay, my bad. So, this is a way that we can, in the future, start to do a lot better off with our aura. So this is a supply of aura, but you see this is decaying pretty regularly here. Not terribly regularly, but enough. So the problem there is that eventually we may run out of aura and we may continuously have to fill that up, and it just kind of becomes a pain. Well, and I don't actually know what infused rock is good for. I should look into that. But what I was going with that before I got distracted by myself is, we can eventually set up a tree farm, which is my plan. I do wish to set one up at some point. So when we do, we can set up a tree farm that uses that, and it will reduce a lot of our extra drops while getting us the logs, which I'm fine with, and will produce a butt ton of mana, or I'm reading that it produces a decent amount of aura. So the canopy diminisher, we'll want to look into that. Let's add a bookmark. So this way we can come back to it later. And that way we have the ability to kind of say, oh, okay, this is what I wanted to make, you know? The bookmarks are very cool. So there definitely seem to be a lot of different cool things to do here. I think what we may aim for is to start looking into automatic tree farming. I don't know if I ever made that an item. Okay, so what we want to do is tree farm. And then, what canopy diminisher. And that way we have a few other things to do in the future. Alright, so why don't we make one of these imperceptible builders? This seems like something that we could do pretty quickly, and will be very useful for automating this ritual right here, because the Ritual of the Forest is not a terrible ritual to do, but it definitely is an involved one. Also, I just really quickly decorated the area just for fun, put up a whole bunch of trees, and just kind of letting stuff grow. You can see the golden leaves are spreading pretty far too, which is very fun to watch as the conversion process kind of takes over. It's very pretty. But yeah, so I've just kind of grown up a whole bunch of trees and let this area kind of expand so it looks very natural and very pretty in my opinion. I like this a lot. So why don't we make one of these imperceptible builders? I think we should have everything we need for one. Let's make sure. So we're going to want an imperceptible builder. And there we go. One imperceptible builder. Well, I already had dispensers. Okay, weird. So with that, we're going to want some sort of storage container. I guess we can probably just go with a chest. And we're also going to want an item frame, which fortunately I do have. We're going to want to grab some gold powder, and we're going to want some sort of block to build this on, because essentially what you do is with the imperceptible builder, you define what block you want to place things on, and it will place them on there based on the items given in the chest. So what I'm going to look for is, I'm thinking maybe great wood would be a good one. So we'll need 16 great wood. Plop, plop placement. I like that. Okay. And so, as always, I can never remember exactly how the shape of this ritual is until I've placed down. And so now, if I understand correctly, and we may, why don't we do this? Why don't we also use, just so that this is even easier, we can grab another chest, and we can grab another hopper, and we can grab some item ducts. Do I have any item ducts? I do have a few. So that we can have like a surface chest and then a below surface chest, like a subsurface chest. So that way we don't have to continuously run around for this stuff. So I'm thinking this chest could go maybe... wish there was a better place to put this. I guess we could just put it here. So then if I understand, first of all, we want to go ahead and make sure that there is a route for this. Cool. So we need to put down item ducts, and then the item ducts will need to go into a container device above the block itself. So we would need, let's see, imperceptible builder here, item frame, the block we want to have placed on it, and then some storage device. So now if I come here, I think this still works. The reason I wanted this is just because I wanted a nice flat surface. So if I put this in here, does it go away? Okay, does it make its way here? Yes, it does. Okay, cool. That's what I thought would happen. And now if I put that there, it gets placed. Okay, so what happens if I place 15 more? And does this container device have to be accessible? It seems like it doesn't. I just want to make sure this can reach everywhere that I want it to, because if it does, then this will be very useful. Yay! Okay, so this seems to be really super useful, because now we don't have to worry about this crap anymore. Shaping this out was not terrible, but this is really fun to automate just using its own mechanics. So that by itself was really cool. Definitely seems like Botania allows you to automate everything within itself. It's just kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest. Like, it's fun to do for all of about 45 minutes for me, and then I get tired of it. So I definitely like the fact that this can be done with its own mod, but very easily and very intuitively. Very cool. Okay, so now, and you can also use this for the farming with the farming central, which is again another way to automate farming, and it's pretty fun looking. I don't know that we need to do anything else necessarily. I do think that there are a few items in the harnessing... Is it harnessing art? No. Natural items section. That could be cool to make, so I'm going to grab myself some of the stuff that we're going to need. We'll play with that and probably call it a wrap for the episode. So the next episode I can make automatic tree farming and move from there. I also should grab... Well, I've got a crate in my inventory, so I guess that answers that. I was going to say I need to grab a storage device so that I can keep stuff out here without having to deal with stacks of items. So we can just put this here with some of our gold leaf, bottled sunlight. I think that's all I have left, actually. So a question that comes to mind is a couple of ways to automate this, actually. This is another one of those things that would be cool to automate. Let me come over here and grab this item real quick. Let me think. Let me see if hoppers will automate this, and if they will, then that may or may not answer my question. Because definitely think that that could be another useful implication for that. And as for automating the ritual, we can probably do that eventually, the ritual of force. We can probably do that eventually, pretty easily, in fact, just not something that I'm looking into doing quite yet. I don't have to automate everything. Like, I'm okay with not having everything automated, so I presume this input and output's like any other inventory, considering the block beneath the nature altar was not defined in the definition of everything, as far as when we were making this originally. So that seems to be working. Great. Alright, well I'm just going to leave this to make a whole bunch of this stuff so that we can use it for crafting for a few minutes. So, watching the nature altar refill, you can see the aura around meter in the upper left drain. So, I stopped at 24 because I felt like this was clearly a taxing process on the environment around me. So I'm just going to chill, let that do its thing for a little bit. You can see our tree here has decayed a lot, which is very sad. Very pretty tree, so I feel bad. But we can make another one pretty reasonably easily, so I'm not like super upset by that. But definitely think that there could be some more stuff done with that in the future. So I would like to make one of these before we wrap up the episode, just because I think this is going to be cool. Well, actually, you know, nah, let's just stick with gear. I was going to say we could do that, but I don't really need to automate that yet, so I think we're okay. So let's look at Nature's Aura. And we should probably make a few of these baubles that are pretty rudimentary, it seems. Oh, I need some more stone. And for a lot of this stuff, you will actually need a decent bit of these. So the ancient bark can be turned into ancient planks, which turn into ancient wood rods. So we can start by making an aura battery, or aura cache, sorry. I'm going to just grab one of these buckets. I don't need to make a new one. I don't need 3 buckets. So that will be an aura cache that we can bring with us. And it will take the belt slot as well, so we'll have to arrange something for that. But we will come up with a solution. And you can see once again another HUD item down here in the aura cache section right next to the hotbar. So the display items are really nice. Bottled substance. What is that used for? I don't know. Sorry, I see some of these things. I'm like, oh, this is cool. What is it? So then all of these items here, all the armor items, I'm going to go ahead and make them. Well, I can't make them. I don't have enough. I'll make them anyway. I'm going to make these real quick just for having. Because eventually the set bonus is pretty cool. It's not something that'll be as powerful as some of the Botania stuff, but I don't need it to be. I'm just playing with this mod because it's really, quite frankly, beautiful, and in my opinion, so far, really well designed. So I'm... Oh, we do get ancient saplings. I thought I was going to have to recraft that. Okay, well that makes me feel less upset now. Now the one downside is that this is unfortunately not in the ore dictionary. Which means that I cannot use lumbering on it, which is okay. I mean, not a huge deal. Alright, so the R cache can be refilled by putting it in here. So if I take it out, you'll see that there's a little bit of R in there. I didn't want to put that in there for too long because there is not a lot of R around. I need a bunch more of these ancient trees, which I might try to get done in between episodes just because it is... I think in order to get even remotely close to done, I'm still going to need quite a few more. So for a bunch of these pieces, you do actually need these ancient wood rods. So that is why I went ahead and grabbed that, is because for the helmet and the chest plate, you will definitely need them. And there we go. I'll just try them on for fun, but there's not really a lot to report here. Set bonuses, like, it's got a cool set bonus. It's just, like, in a modded environment, there's not a lot of other better options, really, right now than what I already have. But I can make an armor stand, because I do think this is really pretty armor. And I do think I like the idea of eventually making some sort of, like, armor collection somewhere. So, like an armory, literally. We'll see if I ever get around to that. I'm hoping that I do. You know what? let's make that an action item. I tried to jump and fly like I had this other armor, and that was not what I wanted. Let's try to collect every armor item in the game. That includes Twilight Forest, Blood Magic, all of them. So let's go ahead and grab this and just put this out here. I'm thinking we can probably put it somewhere in the vicinity of this guy. Maybe here. Very cool. And then if I wanted to, I can make more items, but I will definitely leave that for another episode because our aura is not looking too great in that chunk particularly. You can watch it as it drains as I near. I do think it's really nice to watch how that drains down pretty slowly. Unlike Thaumcraft, where it just jumps down with the aura and the V. So definitely something that I really like. This mod definitely seems very well polished. I'm really having a blast playing with it. So I think that will wrap it up for now for this episode. This month, since it is a holiday, I'm betting that this will be my only episode once again. I promised that last episode too. Or 2 episodes ago technically, and then I proceeded to make another one, so we'll see. But essentially what's happened is I was in Seattle for about a week, just got back yesterday, and am recording this episode while my house is pretty much completely empty. I don't have a dog, I don't have girlfriend, so I mean I have a decent opportunity to record more episodes, but I also have to pack for the Christmas holiday, and get ready for that because I will be spending it not at home, unfortunately, as much as I like being home. So, yeah, just kind of prepping you guys now that I will pack up this video with me, or these video clips with me, and bring them with me and edit them away from home, probably, which means that I will likely not have a chance to record another episode. So, if that is the case, then merry whatever you celebrate, happy whatever you celebrate, whatever, have a great holiday, and I'll see you guys probably next year.